This is Glow in the Dark Radio. The science fiction podcast, with original independent science fiction, written and performed by Mike Luoma, with music by Kevin MacLeod, the Vatican Assassin Trilogy, and The Adventures of Alibi Jones by Mike Luoma are available in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook wherever you find your books online. Get links and details at glowinthedarkradio.com. This is the Science Fiction Podcast, Glow in the Dark Radio. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. We're going to join up with BC as we get into part 2 of chapter 15 of Vatican Abdicator on this episode. BC, Bernard Campion, has been able to, at least for the time being, unite humankind with his Solar Alliance. They've created a new sort of parliament, and BC was immediately raised to Prime Representative, Prime Rep, PR. One of the first things BC did was forge alliances with the alien races, the Flaze and the Domo. They may be able to help with negotiations with the Eldred, the ancient race that wants humankind wiped out. And they've just given BC info on their other threat, Dolome, one of the ancient enemy, a race that looks like us, but was much more powerful mentally and maybe physically. Info is ammo. Information is ammunition. Can BC use his new knowledge and strike back at humankind's enemies? We shall see in part 2 of chapter 15 of Vatican Abdicator on Glow in the Dark Radio. I want to thank my patrons who have been awesome and continue to be awesome. I've gone through 750 episodes now. This is 751 this week. And patrons help me do this and help me keep the lights on, as it were. If you want to become a patron and support the podcast, you can do it for $2, $5, or $10 a month. And the place to do so is patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. You can get to that by just going to glowinthedarkradio.com or MikeLuoma.com, my sites, and following the link for patrons or for Patreon. I want to let you know I've been giving away Vatican Assassin, the 15th Anniversary Edition audiobook. This is that special edition audiobook, has all the voice cameos. Well, that's going to be going away this month. It's going to start to be, well, the usual price, probably like 14 something, 11 something, depends on where you are. But yeah, the price of Vatican Assassin, the audiobook, which has been free, the 15th Anniversary Edition, is going to be going back up in this month of June. So I wanted to give you a heads up on that. If you hadn't taken advantage yet and were planning to, you can get the Vatican Assassin 15th Anniversary Edition Special Edition audiobook with all those different voice cameos for free for a short time longer from many different outlets online. Get the details at the link in the show notes. Well, we'll get into part 2 of chapter 15 of Vatican Abdicator coming up next on Glow in the Dark Radio.
50 years ago, Mira, humankind's last hope to find new resources, departed the solar system. 7 years into her mission, she disappeared. She has returned. SNR Black, a Sol Federation Marine Corps vessel, is sent to retrieve her from certain destruction in the Kuiper Belt beyond Pluto. What they find will change humankind forever. From Parsec award-winning author Paul E. Cooley, Derelict, Marines, Part 1 of the Derelict Saga, combines military sci-fi, space opera, mystery, and suspense to create a journey you won't forget. Podcast available at shadowpublications.com. Paperback and ebook available from Amazon.com. Some mysteries shouldn't be solved.
Now here's part 2 of Chapter 15 of Vatican Abdicator on Glow in the Dark Radio. He looks out the viewport, out over the empty gray surface of the moon. Can we take either the Flaze or the Domo at their word? What is the word of an alien worth? Guess we'll find out. Using the new information, BC orders an SAIF squadron to the supposed location of Dolome's base. They arrive to find the base abandoned. Dolome and his ships are long gone. But it's clear they were there. Evidence of their occupation and their atrocities remain. Other evidence is discovered as well. Dolome has been reported to have a woman at his side, a female consort. BC has heard the reports, but upon sifting through the ruins of the abandoned base, BC is confronted by printed proof. Worse still, BC recognizes the woman. Fiza. He's got to have her under his control. There's no other way she would have... Well, she might. But the last time I saw her, she wasn't exactly cozying up to him and his folks. Poor Fiza. She looks like she's doing okay. BC is looking at a posed print of Fiza and Dolome. His blonde hair is growing back in, the dark ends giving him a strange look. His arm is around her. She grins a nervous smile, but her arm is around Dolome. Huh. She looks kind of happy, I guess. BC doesn't know what to feel. He feels hurt seeing Fiza with Dolome, but also afraid for her, and he can't help thinking of Anita. Fiza is playing a dangerous game, but probably because she has to. Fiza, Anita. Geesh. Maybe if I was the last man on Earth, or the moon, or Mars, prime representative, pope, CEO of the project? Titles. What are they? What are they worth? What am I worth? I don't know anymore. No matter what I do, what level I reach, it still doesn't seem like it's enough. I still feel hollow. If God is love, where do I find that love? Even when I was pope, I couldn't answer that. I don't know if I've ever actually loved anyone. Does that make me evil? Sociopathic? I did used to kill people for a living. That's not really all that social, is it? Well adapted? What is love? What is truth? Quid est veritas? Makes me think I need to check in on Mbeke on the book. We keep arguing and killing over how it is we're supposed to love each other. How fucked up is that? Too many people who don't even know how to love are telling other people how they should love. And the killing continues. BC finds a good night's sleep no longer comes easily as the summer stretches on. He values his sleep when it does come, although he is wary of Dolome's attacks. Late one August night, he once again finds himself standing on the still, calm ocean. As the walls fall away, the world turns gray. He stands alone on a sunless sea. This is getting old. Is it? Out, 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 out. Wait. What? Why do you try to block me? Wait a minute. Who are you? We've already gone through this, haven't we? You're not Dolome. This feels different. No. Are you trying to tell me you're God? Jesus? Always the same questions, and so the same answers. Yes and no. Do you speak like this to Dolome? Dolome? No, he is lost. But he speaks as you do, like this, in dreams, mind to mind. Ah, but this is but your limited mind's way of interpreting my contact with you. Your mind interprets Dolome's contact in a similar fashion, but it is only similar because your mind makes it so. You are different as well. You are not as I am, but you are not like Dolome and his kind, the ones they call the ancient enemy. Me? All of you. Humanity. BC sees a vision of a huge crowd stretching off as far as his eyes can see. All the people still alive, all of humanity he somehow knows. I have a gift to give to you. Clear your mind and be still. BC attempts to comply. A feeling of warmth without heat washes over him, welcoming him, loving him, accepting him unconditionally. And something then clicks in BC's mind. The gray sea and sky surrounding him begins to shimmer and glow, luminescent, increasingly white, until it is nearly blinding him with its burning phosphorescent glow. The light's intensity peaks and begins to fade, and as the light fades, BC's feelings of warmth and love fall away and fade as well.
What just happened?
I have given you a gift, but it comes at a great price.
Why do you sound so faint?
I have given you abilities and defenses you will need to face Dolome, but because of this, you and I will soon no longer be able to be in contact with each other. This is the price. You have seen and touched what others have not. You know how humanity can evolve. All can share in this awareness as you have, but they will need your help to get there.
You're fading away.
You're shutting me out. It's okay. It is part of my gift. You will be able to keep Dolome out easily now. Your mind has been altered. Opened originally by the drugs and your experience with the light and his cult, opened and vulnerable, you now have the means to protect yourself. But the cost, for now, is that you'll no longer hear my song. The voice is gone.
Hello?
The ocean and sky around him fade, from gray to black, and BC drifts through a cloudy dreamland of closing doors. BC wakes up but stays in bed. He tries the mental exercise he's been trying to use against Dolome, the closing doors in his head.
Close the doors.
BC can almost physically feel his mind shut itself up, inner doors slamming closed.
That does feel different. More potent.
He drifts back off to sleep and dreams of being on board the bridge of some strange ship. He's yelling at someone.
Why am I yelling?
He shoots the man.
Why? Why did I shoot him? Wait a sec, is that Fiza?
A woman that looks like Fiza leads a domo in front of him. BC hands the domo a squishy sealed bag of something. The domo looks excited and speaks.
The domo obviously values it. Could it be... blood?
BC realizes he's not alone. He feels Dolome near. He visualizes the closing doors. Slam! The dream ends with a snap. BC sits upright in bed at the jolt, expecting a headache.
Damn. Was that real?
He rocks his head back and forth, loosening the tension in his neck muscles. He massages his temples, but he seems to be spared a headache for now. He gets out of bed and begins his morning routine. After breakfast, BC walks through the atrium, under the main dome of Lunar Prime, on his way to the Prime Rep's office. As he looks at other people, a strange feeling clouds his thoughts. He's struck by how ordinary life is still functioning all around them.
It all looks so ordinary. Like nothing has changed. But everything has changed. Or has it? It's just me. Nothing has really changed.
BC feels like a spectator, sitting back and observing from somewhere inside his own head as he goes through the day. He goes through all the proper motions. He analyzes production reports on the project basis from Anita, covering ship production and retrofits. He reads through a report about, ultimately, nothing from the Domo on their unproductive discussions with the Eldred. There is a request from the Caliph for supplies and for the general needs of Mars as they rebuild. He signs off on almost everything, moves the files out of his office, and on into the growing bureaucracy of the Solar Alliance, all save for Anita's report. He calls her himself. Hey, Anita, just read your report. Yeah? Things are looking good, huh? BC asks her. Looks like you've worked the kinks out of the assembly process after incorporating the Eldred tech. Uh-huh. Things are humming right along, BC, she says.
She sounds distracted.
What's up? BC asks her. What do you mean? Anita answers, sounding defensive. Sounds like you have something on your mind, BC prods her. Well, she begins, but she stops. What? BC asks after her pause. I hate to say it, but it's too quiet. What do you mean? I mean, all summer, I hate waiting for the other shoe to drop, she says. I know, I'm trying to find that shoe. What? We're rotating a new safe Stinger squadron out to Cat's Eye to scout Dolome's last known location in Flaze space. If you're looking for some excitement, I could put you in charge of the wing, BC offers. No thanks, Anita demurs. You trying to get me killed, BC? Just offering. She laughs. Actually, I've got my hands full here on Ceres. You know, BC, you haven't really been back to the new base since it's become fully functional. Lived in. You should stop out for a visit. What, on an inspection tour or something?
As the Prime Representative visiting one of the territories of the Solar Alliance, she suggests. All right, maybe I'll come out, BC says. A thought occurs to him. Aw, you miss me, don't you? Anita actually blushes, but she regains her composure quickly. Maybe I do, she says. Let me know what you decide to do. She cuts off the comm. Strange woman. Not that I'm sane. The Ice Queen melts. Is this a good thing? Whoa, my heart's racing a little. And then I think of Fiza, inevitably. She's with Dolome, looking awfully cozy with him. How much of that is his doing? A communique arrives from the Flaze, drawing BC's attention. They ask about the disposition of the human fleet, the additional SAIF ships BC will be sending into Flaze territory. BC gets his secretary on the comm to respond for him. Tell the Flaze the, fleet will be there within a matter of days, but be sure to let the Flaze know the new ships are just replacing the ones we sent out last month. See if they understand rotation, huh? And set up a visit out to the Ceres base for me. I want to go inspect the place, tour the new facilities, get to know that part of the Solar Alliance a little better. And maybe tour Ms. Capituna's facilities as well, sir? His secretary Lisa cracks before she clicks off. That woman knows way too much. Makes her an excellent secretary. BC calls up the plans for Ceres Central. The newest asteroid base draws attention away from the shipyard and the original base. Now there are new retrofitting facilities. Ceres is distant enough to keep prying eyes away from the other bases. Representative Juarez of Ceres has been directing the trade discussions with the Flaze and the Domo as head of the Commerce Committee. She has a knack for dealing with them. Maybe I'll pull her in on the diplomatic side, too. Although, she's not making friends with the remaining UTZ counselors. They don't like her no-nonsense style. I told her to ignore them. Don't care what they say. And tell them to complain to me. It's a new day, a new world. Worlds, plural. And as we set up our central trading hub with these new cultures and planets, the old rules no longer apply. Juarez knows. She gets it. I should visit with her while I'm out there, too. Boost the morale of the commerce negotiators. Maybe. BC's secretary Lisa books the trip with flourishes. BC will ride from Lunar Prime to Ceres on the new Transspace passenger liner, accompanied by a small contingent of SAIF Stinger ships as a security escort. Anita has arranged a state dinner for BC on Friday night. She confirms the details on a comm call with BC. She throws him a bit of a curveball when she adds, and then on Saturday, I want you to meet with me and the governors of the colonies. What governors of what colonies? BC asks her. Crankshaft, Cat's Eye, Dimwit, and Rigel 4. What, we're calling them colonies now? What should we call them? She asks BC. I don't know. I've always just thought of them as kind of branch offices of the project. I guess. Under your jurisdiction now. That's not how they see it. They were hit by the plague. They've sent ships to help fight. They make some of the parts we use on the new ships. They feel they're much more than branch offices of the project now. Representative Juarez has agreed to meet with the colonial governors, too, to help map out trade routes. There's already been a healthy amount of human-alien commerce going on out on the 4 worlds. Okay, I'll do that then. I'll meet with these governors. Were they actually elected? BC asks her. Anita sighs. Yes, she says, a bit exasperated. There are about 300 people on Rigel 4. They elected Fari Anslan to represent them. The 200 or so left on Cat's Eye voted Amara Schwartz into office. The 250 residents of Crankshaft decided Ken Grissom would lead them. And the 200 on Dimwit elected Sue Chin to lead. If they're going to be part of the Solar Alliance, we've got to change the name of Dimwit, BC cracks. Actually, Sue Chin already has a proposal. They want to officially name it Depot. It's kind of what they call it already out there, Anita tells him. Just tell her to go ahead and do that. Let's make it official, BC says. Depot it is. Just like that, she asks, and looks at him with a puzzled expression on her face. Just like that, BC says. He smiles at Anita. So, do we still need to meet? BC, she says, managing to turn his name into an admonishment. She rolls her eyes, but then cracks a smile. That's just the tip of the iceberg, as the old saying goes. Yes, we still need to meet. Fine. Saturday afternoon, then. I'm all yours, he says to her. Are you making any public appearances? Giving any speeches? Anything like that while you're here? She asks. Do I have to? BC asks. It would be a good idea, she tells him. Listen, BC begins to protest. Anita glares at him. Fine, okay. I'll give a speech of some kind to start the meeting. Let the press cover it. How's that? Good, Anita says. And that leaves Saturday night open. She looks at BC expectantly. Good, BC agrees. There's an awkward silence. What does she want me to say? It's been a while. I never know how to read her. What am I supposed to do? Anita clears her throat. Do you want to have a non-state dinner on Saturday night? BC tries. She smiles. Yes, right answer. Good idea, she says, patronizing him only slightly. Gee, thanks, he says sarcastically. See you Friday, she says, signing off. Saved by the calm.
That was part 2 of Chapter 15 of Vatican Abdicator on Glow in the Dark Radio. Well, BC will soon be heading to Ceres Central to see Anita and do all the state stuff a new prime rep must do. He's still mentally digesting his most recent visitation. Is he really now mentally better equipped to defeat Dolomé? Sure was strange seeing things through Dolomé's eyes, but as Anita says, we've been waiting. We've been left alone for too long, so will the other shoe drop soon in our next chapter, maybe? We shall see in Chapter 16 of Vatican Abdicator, coming up on our next episode of Glow in the Dark Radio. Again, a big thank you to patrons for supporting Glow in the Dark Radio all this time, as we hit episode 751 now, just past 750. And a reminder, if you want to get that very special edition audiobook with the cool cameos, the voice cameos, that's Vatican Assassin, 15th Anniversary Edition, audiobook. It is free for a short time longer, but that will be going away during this month of June. The price will be going back to normal as the month goes on, so just a reminder to take advantage of that, and you'll find the links for it in the show notes. And that is all for this week. I am your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. Thank you again for listening to Glow in the Dark Radio. Glow in the Dark Radio. This podcast presentation is copyright 2023 by Michael F. Luoma and is protected under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License, CC by NC-ND 4.0. Music by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his work at Incompetech.com. Mike's books are available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, wherever you find books online. Get links and more details at glowinthedarkradio.com and mikeluoma.com. This has been a presentation of Glow in the Dark Radio.